Hello?
Hello.
Hi.
Are you in California right now?
Yes.
Cool. So that's your kitchen. Nice. I like it. I like it because there's more light. I can see more of your face. How's it going? Can you speak openly where you are?
Yes. I just kicked my son out, so.
Okay. Good. We love you, buddy, but you gotta go. It's time for you to have your private time. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Metamorphosis Live with Abby. We are live every Friday morning at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. This is Julie, and it is Julie's fourth session today. Hey, Cass. So I can't believe we have this one, and then we have one more after that. And then we're transitioning you into private sessions with your own private hypnotherapist. So very, very, very cool. For those of you who are tuning in for the first time, I'm not a licensed therapist. I am a holistic healer. I use all kinds of different processes and techniques like hypnosis, NLP. I use Reiki, angel communication, quantum processes. I'm very much connected with the stream of consciousness. I talk to God a lot. I talk to my angels a lot, all the time. And so we are just really fluid. You're welcome to follow along with the processes. However, if this is your first time working on healing yourself, I don't recommend that because sometimes the emotions that can come up from doing this work are a little bit too extreme for you to experience by yourself. So just be really careful, practice it at your own risk. And other than that, let's get rolling. So, Miss Julie, tell us a little bit about your
It's been a really rough week. The homework you gave me last week was to look for violations of my boundaries.
Yeah.
And I guess what I kind of realized is how alone I actually am, because I was looking and I realized I just don't really have any interactions with anyone. Like I'm alone most of the time.
Wow.
So the few interactions that I have with people are like a lot more fraught with problems because I have expectations about how those interactions are going to go because I don't have that many.
Yeah.
So what?
That's really great awareness. Can you tell me more about what that looks like for you? Like, what does it look like when your interactions are more fraught because of your expectations?
Like I had a job interview the other day and I waited over an hour to speak to the person that I was supposed to interview with, and I basically was in the waiting area, just getting like more and more angry as the minutes turned, just on to half hour to 45 minutes to an hour, and I was really scared that I was just going to go like scream at the guy.
Absolutely.
And I felt like that was a real violation of my boundaries, but I didn't know what to do with that. Like I didn't know, like, am I supposed to say something, not say something? And I was so angry that I didn't even know how I was going to be when I actually
got into the interview. Yeah.
So I didn't know what to do. Like I was angry, but then it was a job interview. You can't just go off on somebody.
On your future boss.
Yeah.
So how did you handle it? What did you do?
Well, he, apologized right away, and that sort of diffused a lot of my anger. And then, it ended up going what I thought was well. But then he said the next step would be for me to fill out the online application and call him back, and then there would be an interview today. Yeah. But then when I filled out the application online and called him back, he said, "Oh, it'll be sometime next week." And then I felt like, did something else happen? Like, what is going on? And then I felt like, why would he lie to me? And, so that's what I mean by like the expectations. It's like, I don't know what's okay and what's not. As far, or another example. So again, like most days I don't talk to anyone at all. And
really lonely.
Yeah. So like when my husband and my son are here in California, I could go all week without not talking to one person.
Yeah.
My son and I were grocery shopping in Las Vegas this week for my husband, because he doesn't have a car. We only have one car, so when somebody takes it to California, the other person's just at the house. And he works at home, so it's not a big deal. But I went in, and I'm a couponer. I love to get the most for the least. And I had my Albertsons app where I have, you get so many points every time you shop, and then you can use those points to get free things. So I had my app open with the things, and the lady was like, "No, you have to do this or that. That's not coming off, and we're not giving it to you." And I'm like, "It's right here on my phone, like free eggs, right? Like a dozen eggs." And she's like, "No, you have to do it this way or that way." And then when I did what she said, the free egg thing disappeared.
Oh no.
So I was like, I mean, the free eggs don't matter that much, but it's you guys have an app, and you tell me, that I can use. So I exchanged my points for the free eggs. Okay. So the points are gone. And then the free eggs were gone.
Oh no.
And I know, I mean, it sounds crazy, and it's not about the eggs.
It's about the principle.
Right. And the lady was just so mean and nasty, like, "I'm not giving you the eggs." I'm like, "But you saw on my phone, I showed you that I had the free eggs." And, my son was like, it was just like steel cage death match, Karen versus Karen.
Oh, shit. Oh, my God. Oh, that doesn't help your self-esteem for sure.
No. So, it's stuff like that. It's like, I understand she's an employee, and they're, they don't necessarily know the functions of the app or anything else like that, but most of the time when they see that you do have the free thing and it's just not coming off on the register, they just give it to you.
That's my experience.
But this lady was not having it, and then her and I like got into it, and I was like, I mean, I ended up just not getting the eggs, but that's the type of thing that I'm talking, like, because I don't have that interaction with people, then it's like, okay, I'm going, grocery shopping, which should not be a big deal. Mm-hmm. And then the lady's just mean, and I don't, normally I would like blow it off, but I was thinking, oh, I'm going to stick up for myself.
Yeah, you did.
And it didn't go anywhere. Most of the time, I just feel like a fly on the wall, and I'm ignored. and it's like whatever. But you know, when I do try to speak up for myself, why does it always end in a fight?
Okay, so there's a couple of things I want to draw your attention to. Firstly, the practice of defending your boundaries is not a practice due to the results that you're trying to get. So you're not doing it in order to get specific results. You're not doing it because you're trying to control the outcome. You are defending your boundaries so that you get in the practice of noticing where your boundaries are at. And if someone crosses your boundary, you actually say something. Does that kind of make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So the exercise is not to create a certain outcome. The exercise is to say, oh, I'm sorry, this is where my boundary is at. You shall go no further. You shall not pass, right? So
well, that's how I felt with the interview. It was like, okay, how long? My boundaries are, I give people like 15 minutes or something like that, you know?
Yeah.
Because my time is important too, you know?
Absolutely. Right. Absolutely. So that was such a great noticing, such a great awareness of your boundary being crossed, of your time being violated, not respected. And then such a great witnessing that when the manager apologized, that it allowed you to diffuse some of that anger, that rage that was being built up. Because, Jules, another thing that you have to realize is that every time your boundary is crossed at the moment, until all of the rage at having your boundaries consistently crossed your entire life, until all of that rage is cleared out, anytime someone crosses your boundaries, now it's going to be like Mount Vesuvius. It's going to be like
that's what it felt
like. Because we still, and whether we do this together or you do it with Judy when you move on to her for your one-on-one sessions, there still needs to be that clearing out of just a large amount of rage, so many years upon years upon years of having your boundaries consistently violated and receiving the message that they don't matter, that you don't get to have boundaries. So you constantly stepped on, you're constantly walked all over, right? Does that kind of make sense?
Yeah.
When we get into the habit of starting to set our boundaries, at first, it's very much a pendulum. It's very much like it swings all the way over to one side, and you're noticing like having an overreaction, and you're like, okay, I'm witnessing myself having an overreaction right now. But the purpose is not, again, it's not to get the result that you want. The purpose is actually just to acknowledge that your boundaries are being violated. You are having a reaction because anger is appropriate when your boundaries are being violated. That is exactly when anger is actually the point. When your boundary is being violated, that triggers anger. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So that is all exactly as it should be. Okay. Let's talk about how do you manage your anger in the moment. You know, and it could be, Jules, it could be that were you applying to a local LA Fitness?
It's one in the San Fernando Valley.
Oh, cool. It could be that maybe you're not supposed to work at that one. Maybe you're supposed to work at a different one. Maybe you're supposed to work at a gym, but not that gym. Does that make sense? Like it could be that maybe you're not supposed to work at your home gym. Maybe you're supposed to be able to work out in a different place than you go to work.
I was thinking about that, but I usually go to the 24-hour fitness, so
cool.
That's why I was like worried about applying to the 24-hour fitness, but I did that too, and I haven't gotten any calls back. So
yeah, good job. All you can do is follow your intuition. Honestly, all you can do is follow your intuition. And if I had been sitting there for an hour, and then don't do what I do. Don't do what I say. Do what feels right to your intuition. That much is clear, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But this is just me. This is how I honor myself. If I'd been sitting there for an hour, and then I got pulled into an interview, and then the manager told me that my interview would be on Friday, and then told me that it would be on a different day, that to me shows red flags of disorganization. that to me shows me, I don't know if I necessarily want to be a part of that particular organization where everything is so messy and chaotic that they can't say what they mean or do what they say they're going to do. Does that make sense?
Yes, I was concerned about that myself.
Yeah, with really valid reasons, with super valid reasons. So I want you to check in with your intuition and just look at this pattern. Do you want to give them another chance and go in for your second interview and then make a decision? Because here's what I don't want to happen. I don't want you to make a decision based on you got an offer and you feel like that's the only thing you're going to get, so you have to say yes. That's the old pattern.
That was my, it's like, that's what I always do.
Right. Someone says you should do this, you go, okay, maybe that's the only thing that I'll be able to do, so I better just do that. And then you end up in misery. So here the universe perhaps, let me not speak as if this is truth, because I don't know. What do I know? But here it seems like it could be the universe is presenting you with an opportunity to change the way that you've done things in the past, to stop sweeping red flags under the rug, to stop completely ignoring warning signals, and actually make a different kind of decision or do something a little bit different.
The question is, what do you do when you actually do need a job? Because I've always just taken the first job that I've had, the first offer, and it's always been a disaster.
Let me ask you, I'm going to reflect that question back to you. You had a friend and she went to a job interview and she told you these things and you're like, I don't know about that. And you were like, I don't know if that's like a good place for you. And she's like, well, what do I do then? What would you say to your friend?
I would have, again, I would go by how much she needed the job. So it's like, maybe take it until you get another offer.
Okay.
And then
how would
go.
She get another offer?
You apply to a bunch of different places and go to a bunch of different interviews, and you get one, and if the other ones are going to take a while or for whatever reason, and you take this one to get paid, and then but if she didn't totally need it, then like if she didn't need the job, then it would be like, okay, well, wait till you get the right offer.
Cool. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so now apply that same advice to yourself. What should you do?
Like, I need to get a job, because if we're going to move back to LA for my son's school, which it's looking like we're going to be doing, then I have to work. Like, we can't afford LA without me working.
Okay, tell me more about that. Tell me more. So you would already tell your friend to take a job to get money and then keep applying. So tell me more about what you're going to do.
Well, I mean, I've applied at every gym there is. I just haven't heard back. When I went to the 24-hour fitness the other day and asked them if they had my application, they said they didn't. So I don't know if something happened in the like, what happened to my application. They didn't have it. Like, he showed me the list of people that he had that he had applications from, and I was not on the list. So mine just disappeared in the internet somewhere.
Good. So what can you do next?
Get on the computer and reapply.
There you go. There you go. And how about Googling all the gyms within a 20-mile radius?
Oh, I have, and I've applied at all of them. Crunch, Planet Fitness, 24-hour Fitness, LA Fitness.
Gold's?
What?
Gold's? Gold's Gym?
Yes.
Okay.
There's a few Golds, actually, in the area. So there's one in Santa Clarita, and then there's one down here.
Yeah. There's one in North Hollywood. There's one in Venice. There's one in Thousand Oaks. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, exactly.
I'm just concerned that those applications also disappeared into the internet.
Good. So what can you do about that?
Not sure. Like with the 24-hour fitness, I'm there all the time, so I could keep asking them, what's up. But that the Golds or the Crunch or the Planet Fitness, I'm not at them. So
you're not there. What can you do instead?
Email them.
Sure. Yeah. Or what are some other ways that you can contact gyms? Apart from email.
Call them?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. You can email them, you can call them. You don't have to necessarily be there all the time to follow up. Also, you don't only have to apply just to gyms. I fucking love your intuition that knowing that working at a gym would light you up. I really, really love that. And just ping me when we're done. I'll introduce you to my friend Angel, who owns all the Gold's gyms, and just see if there's a better way.
Okay.
To get your foot in the door. Even if he just refers you right to one of the managers that are currently hiring. Maybe that would be a cool way to go about it. But in the meantime, where else would you be happy working? I want you to think.
When I was, I applied to these event.
Yes, exactly.
These event places, so that, so I could, be at concerts and things like that and sell, work the concession stand or whatever and get into games and concerts and things like that. But they said you need some kind of a TAM card, so I have to get that and then call them back. But that's in Las Vegas, not LA.
Okay.
Because Las Vegas is opening up a lot more than LA is. And so there's a lot more events happening there than there are here.
Yes, that is absolutely accurate. And, if you make enough money to afford your own little place in Vegas, it might be nice for you to stay there. It feels like there's a good energy there for you.
It's so much better in Las Vegas than LA.
It might be really, really nice for you to stay there since you love it, since it feels better for you, since you like the energy better. Especially once you actually get a job and stop being around people, right? Being by yourself is not awesome.
No, I just realized over this last week when I was looking for interactions where I could try and see if anybody was violating my boundaries, that I was really not having any interactions at all.
Right, and like you said, the interactions that you were having, your boundaries are being consistently violated, right? With your hubby, your son, it's like they don't know how to interact with you without violating your boundaries.
Yep.
Without saying really mean, negative stuff. And your son, I think, probably is better, but he's probably just taking a cue from your hubby.
Yeah.
Because where else is he going to learn how to talk to you if not just in his immediate environment? Yeah. And Cass says, look how you light up when you talk about Vegas. You really, really do. I think that it's really important for you to consider finding a room for rent and just staying in Vegas, and not coming back to LA if it feels like LA drowns your soul.
Well, the thing is, LA used to light up my soul until COVID.
Yeah.
Then all the awesome things about LA went away, and I really have no idea when they're coming back.
Yeah, and some of them have already started, right? Some of them have started. Some of them are projected to start again in July. And then finally, the last, I think, indoor plays are opening back up in October. So, stay in Vegas at least until then.
Although I did get tickets for the Hollywood Bowl. I'm so excited to go back to the Hollywood Bowl.
Yay!
That was like my favorite, and I missed it so much last year.
It's just so beautiful there. Because the whole thing is an experience.
Mm-hmm.
You get to take your picnic, and you're bringing your wine, and you just have like such a beautiful night. It's just gorgeous. And
Yeah.
Stars, and the weather is so balmy. Like everything about it is exactly what summer should be.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I love. And my son has always loved the music. Like when he was a baby and we took him, he would just calm down and be happy there. And so we brought him, and like you said, you could picnic, and then he could run around, and then he would be calm to sit in the seat for the show, and then he could run around some more during intermission. I just love it, and I missed it so much last year.
You can get up and you can dance. Oh, it's just so wonderful. Yeah, it's really wonderful. Very, very cool. Okay, so fantastic job noticing where your boundaries are being violated. I wonder, what are you saying to, like, what kinds of things are you saying to your hubby or to your son when they say mean things to you? Judy's moving to Cali. Come here, Judy.
No, she isn't.
She better. I've been working on Jude's for 3 years now. Trying to get all my people over here. So
I have to say, like yesterday, I went to the LA Fitness up in Santa Clarita, and I had heard about that girl whose dad was shot, and she was graduating Saugus High last night, and so the fire trucks and everything were all over there, and I was having trouble getting by to come back, but I was really feeling sorry for myself yesterday at the gym, and then when I heard about that, I was like, wow, I don't have it so bad. This girl started her junior year with a shooting, then had her junior year ruined by COVID, senior year ruined by COVID, and then her dad shot right before graduation, and then she wore his coat, his fire coat. I mean, did you hear about that?
Oh, was that the one in Ecuador?
Yeah.
That happened 2 days ago?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I can't even imagine, like, her going to her graduation at that point, but she pulled it off, and then it's like I'm sitting there all whiny and depressed and full of self-pity when that girl is getting up and, going to her graduation when she probably doesn't feel like it. Like, it just really hurt my heart to think of her having to do that when just a couple days ago her dad was around and they were probably planning for yesterday and everything else like that. So I kind of had to jolt myself a little bit when I was seeing all the firefighters there for her and everything else like that.
Ooh, that's so intense. And as much as we want to give your feelings validation, right? It is sometimes so important to realize and remember that interacting with the outside world helps to put things into perspective, right?
Yeah.
One of my friends spent a summer, she goes to Haiti fairly frequently on missions trips. And every time she comes back, she's completely changed. Because when she goes, our culture very much supports an instant gratification, a temper tantrum when we're not instantly gratified. It very much supports a woe is me, everybody else has it better than I do. Like, that's just our cultural milieu right now. Milieu, if we're going to say it within the French pronunciation. And every time she went to Haiti, and she's witnessing these families upon families upon families who have no shoes, who have, who live in a mud hut, 20 of them lying just straight on the ground. And then she sees how they're able to make the best of their situation, how they still love their life, how they're still happy because they don't actually know that they're living, quote unquote, in poverty, because that's only our perception of them, right? They don't necessarily relate to that. That's just everyday life. Like eating once a day, if you're lucky, is kind of the way that they live. And so on these missions trips, they bring beans and bags of rice, and they're always so happy to see them. And they'll say or do whatever they need to get these bags of rice, and they'll move into the faith or do whatever it is. And then, and they're just so excited to eat consistently once a day at least, and these things, like, it really, really helps to have perspective, because it does remove us from the cloud that overhangs us sometimes, right? And it has to be, this perspective has to be used sparingly, because it can't be used to punish yourself for having emotions. You actually get to have emotions. Your emotions are valid. You get to experience your life the way that you're experiencing it. And then you also get to have moments of realization where you're like, okay, I just need to pull up my big girl panties, because really my life is not that bad. It's bad. It's kind of fucked. Like, your life is really hard. I'm not going to sit here and say that your life is not hard, Jules. It is. It's hard. It's hard to feel so lonely and isolated. It's hard to go through a lifetime of suppressing who you are, because the people around you constantly tell you that you have to, and you're not allowed to be yourself. That's hard. So fucking hard, right? It's hard to be a creative soul who gets lit up in areas that are deemed irresponsible to follow through on, right? Like fashion and things like that. That's hard. So just because you have shoes doesn't mean that you're not allowed to have the experience of your life being challenging. It just means that you get to have perspective. Okay, well, these people don't even have shoes, and look how happy they are. Okay, cool. Then I can find a way to be happy. Then I can commit myself to be happy. I can make a decision that my life is what I choose for it to be, and I can go and fucking do it. And it's not going to be easy, and it's not an overnight shift. But even you just signing up, just being brave enough to sign up for this program, for Metamorphosis, that is you making decisions that you don't want to live like you were anymore. You want to live differently. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? Yeah. And so I love that you were able to get that perspective. It's so important to have perspective. I was reading a newspaper article the other day. I say a newspaper article like I have ever bought a newspaper in my life. I never have. Okay, so let's be accurate. I was scrolling on Facebook, and I love those Gold Coast interviews, because every time I read a Gold Coast interview, I'm so wildly inspired by the tenacity and persistence of the human spirit. So I was reading this Gold Coast interview about this guy who was wealthy, and he happened to meet a guy who was selling ice cream on the street, and he just got in a conversation with him. I mean, the article was, wealthy so-and-so buys this man's entire stock of ice cream, and then goes on to raise another $32,000 for him so that he can retire. So then you start to read about this man's story, this elderly Hispanic gentleman supporting, his family, his family's family, he's supporting his children and his grandchildren on this little ice cream cart. And he, the picture was of him weeping, obviously. And he said that his whole goal, his entire goal in life, was just to make sure that his family was able to eat once a day. And that's in America. That's here.
Mm-hmm.
And there are families that don't eat once a day. And when they do, like, that's a blessing. And it reminded me that I'm all right. You know what I mean? Like, it reminded me that, yeah, I've got challenges. Yeah, I have things in my life that are hard, but fuck, man, I get to eat whenever I want. That's something to really be grateful for. And I have those moments all the time. Like, I was in a really bad, so I'm just saying I relate to you so much. And I was in, like, I was a couple of months ago, I was driving and I was also feeling really sorry for myself. As difficult to believe as it is, I throw myself a pity party once in a while because I'm a human being. So I was feeling really sorry for myself. I was feeling really angry and irritated about something that was happening. That was some drama that I did not create, but was projected onto me, and got worse when I set my boundaries. And then I watched a homeless man try to balance his worldly belongings on his bicycle. And he dropped them, and he had to pull over, and he was struggling trying to, like, hold his bike up and just pick up his plastic bags. And I started crying because that always breaks my heart. But I just started crying, and I was like, okay, I'm fucking fine. Like, I'm really fucking fine. Like, yeah. Oh, thank you. Right, Marvin? Oh my God, so powerful. Yeah, I'm like, okay, so I like, my life is fine. I can eat when I want, I live in a beautiful apartment. My bills are paid. I work when I want. So sometimes we just need that perception. We just need to remember that there's a world going on outside of ourselves.
Yeah, I get angry when people talk badly about homeless people, because I've met like 3 homeless people in my life, and they've all been great people. Like, they had jobs, and they just couldn't afford an apartment. They had pets that they loved and took care of. One saved my son, because my son ran away in Hollywood, ended up somewhere in downtown LA. And a homeless guy, like, he was in gangland, and a homeless guy came up to him, bought him a water and like a little snack, and walked him to the closest police station.
That is so beautiful.
And I just
so beautiful.
couldn't, like, I can't get into all these like Facebook things where people are bagging on homeless people as a bunch of drug addict losers, because that hasn't been my experience at all.
It tends to not be the case. People who end up homeless are not there often by choice. Sometimes they are, sometimes it is by choice, but frequently no, not by choice, just a series of wrong decisions based on their own limiting programs, their own limiting beliefs, and then just a not knowing of how to access their resources again, right? Just a simple not knowing. And obviously I've been homeless 4 times. Like, luckily, I'm so blessed to say I was never homeless, like, on the streets. But yeah, there's a level of shame and humiliation and sadness and anger towards yourself and disappointment that becomes such a thick slab that if you don't have the resources to work through it, how are you supposed to get yourself out of that situation? You know what I mean? If you can't tap into your intuition, if you can't tap into your strength, if you can't break through that worthlessness feeling, once you're already there, what are you supposed to do? And Jude's, I know, can relate to this really powerfully because she works at a homeless shelter. And a lot of the people that she sees there are veterans. They got there by no fault of their own. They came back. They just didn't have money. They didn't know how to integrate back into society. And so they ended up on the streets. Like, ouchies, right? Like, all of this stuff. So it's really definitely good for you to interact with the outside world because you get to tell boundaries, you get to see where they're at, you practice standing up for yourself, And you get to, well, keep saying it, Jude. Keep saying it. And you get to have this experience of, okay, some people have it worse, some people have it better. How do I want my life to be within that? I get to make choices. You remember that you're in the driver's seat. And I think that's been something that was encouraged for you to forget about. You're encouraged to forget that you have any power over what happens to you in your life. And we are here to remind you that you're a fucking warrior goddess, and you're the only one who gets to choose what happens to you.
I just have to figure out how to handle myself, I guess, when I have these interactions, or how to have the confidence to go out there and have an interaction in the first place that isn't sort of just forced,
Sure. When you say handle yourself, what do you mean specifically by that? When you get angry because people are crossing your boundaries?
I just, how you talked about vibrations and things like that. I wonder if my vibrations are just off, and my energy is just off somehow, and so the vibrations that I put out there just, have negative. They hit other people in a negative way. I don't know.
I love your sense of taking responsibility for yourself, your behavior, your actions, your words. That's so empowering, babe. I would say yes, definitely something about your picker, something about your vibrations are still operating on a lower vibration. So I'm going to make your homework this week.
Okay.
Okay. I want you to just make a list of characteristics of what you would like to see in the people that you start to attract to you.
Okay.
So that might be unconditional acceptance. It might be kindness, compassion. It might be a soft heart, right? It might be non-judgmental, right? And the things that you do want around you, not the things that you don't want around you. Okay, so if you put the things that you don't want around you, your mind is going to cancel out the don't and focus on those things. So put the things that you want in people around you. Because since you're starting with a blank slate, almost a blank slate, you get to actually create the environment around yourself that you want. Respectful of your boundaries, respectful of your time, right? Maybe people who are self-sufficient, who don't need to rely on you energetically or emotionally. Maybe people who have worked on themselves a little bit, so they don't completely overreact when you say something that hits a nerve. So they can just be open and say, "Oh, that really triggered me. Give me a second."
I think for me, that's actually the most important thing. I would want people to be honest. I feel like no one is ever honest with me. It's really frustrating. Like, they'd rather just ghost me than tell me the truth.
Sure. And what do we say? What do we say? What do we tag on when we make statements, generalized statements like that?
Historically.
Yes. Or even yet. Right? So yeah, sure, your experience of people is that they're not honest and direct with you. Guess what? I only welcome people who are honest and direct with me in my environment. What do I have? I'm surrounded by people who are honest and direct with me.
But I think that's probably what I want the most.
Good. So then put it on there. Highlight it. Honest. But let's work in there kind and compassionate also, right? Because we don't need people who are mean.
Right.
We don't want people who are like vindictive or cruel.
Right.
Right? We're looking for people who are open and direct, but also kind and loving. Good. Excellent. So what I want you to do is you're going to write that list, and then every day I want you to just imagine meeting someone new that has some of those characteristics or all of those characteristics. Okay?
But then that I have trouble just because I've been so alone. I have trouble like actually approaching anyone.
You don't have to approach anyone.
Okay.
No, you don't have to actually turn it into a reality. Once you align with the vibration, Spirit is going to do the rest of the work for you. Spirit is going to say, join this gym, join this class, go here to this bar, go get a glass of wine. Spirit is going to give you actual directions on what to do and where to go. Okay? So you don't have to figure it out. That's the beautiful thing about it. That's why you just listen and trust your intuition. Your only job is to align your vibration, aka you're going to create the list of characteristics of people that you want around you, and then you're just going to meditate on it on a daily basis. Just imagine yourself being somewhere in a Starbucks and someone walks up to you, and imagine that interaction. They're so kind, they're direct, they're loving. They're like, "Oh, you have some lettuce in your teeth." And you're like, "Thank you for telling me. No one ever tells me about the lettuce." Right? So that's your job. Your job is to work on you. Okay? And I already witness you, Jules, as a beautiful, compassionate, kind person. I already, as direct, honest, I already witness you as a person who is similar to the type of people that you want to attract.
Well, that's what I always think. And then I attract people that blow me off and violate my boundaries.
Yes, because historically you haven't known how to filter out those people. Historically, you didn't even see them. You were just like, "Oh, nice, someone who wants to be my friend." You didn't even notice your boundaries being violated or disrespected. And sometimes it takes time for people to reveal those parts of themselves. Okay? So have faith in the process. Have patience with yourself and the process. Okay? Because I began this process, originally when I was like, man, I do not care for any of the people around me. I was probably 25 years old. So that was about 12. No, I was younger. I was about 20 years old. So that was about 17 years ago that I started this process. Now, I don't necessarily think it's going to take you 17 years to bring a tribe around you, but I also can promise you it's going to take more than 24 hours.
So patience is just not one of my virtues.
And that's totally fine. We acknowledge that. We recognize that. That is totally fine. Okay, in the meantime, what we're going to do today is we're going to give you a super suit because I really would like to start bulletproofing you against some of these reactions, these comments, these experiences that are coming towards you. Does that make sense?
Yes, I was actually going to, ask you about doing something like that. So
well, perfect. Yes, trust the process. Exactly. I love it. All right, babe, are you ready? You know what your homework is?
Yep.
By the way, I just want to really celebrate how fully you show up to this process. You do your homework even when it's hard, even when it shows you things that you don't want to see. That's the whole fucking point. That's the point. We're wandering around with these filters and these lenses and these curtains over our eyes, and we have no idea what we're doing, and we don't know where we're going, and we don't know how we're interacting with our world or what we're creating. So when you start to see things that you don't care for, that's the moment that you can make a change, right? When you don't even see it, then there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. Okay, perfect. Let's do it. So when you're ready, go ahead and close your eyes. Totally. She's so ready for the change. I agree. Take some nice deep breaths. And I'm going to count you from 10 down to 0. And as I do, I want you to imagine yourself walking along the beach, feeling the sand beneath your feet, feeling the rumble of the ocean waves, smelling the salty sea air, hearing the seagulls, feeling the warmth of the sun on your skin. starting at 10. And with each count, you're going to allow yourself to go even deeper into a state of peace, calm, relaxation, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0 is deep into a state of peace, calm, and relaxation. And then further up from the beach, you see a cliff. And I want you to imagine walking over to that cliff and noticing that there's an opening, actually. It looks like a cave. Can you imagine that? And if you can, imagine that. Okay. So as you walk towards the cave, notice that the air starts to cool. It doesn't smell stale, though. It still smells fresh, like cool water. And you walk into the cave, and there's a torch, like an old-fashioned one, on the walls. You grab it. You just feel so curious to explore what's here in the cave. You can sense yourself moving deeper and deeper into the cave, but you still feel safe because you can see that it's a very straight way out. Something about this space feels very protected. Can you imagine that? Yeah. Good. And then off of the path in the cave system, there's a little room that's brightly lit. And you see a super suit on, I don't know, just like a mannequin. And it looks like it was made just for you. Even seeing it kind of excites you. It lights you up. Can you imagine that? Yeah. It may have been a different aspect of you that made the super suit, the one that it works on cosmic planes and can do all of that time travel and loves fashion, but also knows how to create such a thing as a super suit. Could be that you just made this for yourself and left it here for you. And as you get closer to it, you see that there's a tag around the neck of the mannequin. And so walk over to the mannequin and you read the tag, and it says, "For Julie. Enjoy." Smiley face. And what do you notice about that when you see that?
I'm excited to put it on.
Oh, good. Go ahead. Go ahead and put it on. You can do it in the privacy of your mind, by the way, so no one can see you change or put the super suit on, but go ahead and put it on. And tell us what it looks like.
Like something Elton John would wear.
Yes.
It's got like a feather boa around it, and it's tight with like sparkles, sequins, and stuff.
Gorgeous. And there's a headpiece too. What kind of headpiece is there?
Again, it's like one of those top hats that Elton John would wear.
Love it. So go ahead and put on your super suit, Jules. And once you've got it on, nod your head for me. Okay, beautiful. And I want you to notice that there's a panel somewhere. It might be in the suit. It might be next to the mannequin, but notice that there's a panel with buttons and instructions. When you found the panel, nod your head for me.
Okay.
Okay, good. Where is it?
On my stomach.
Oh, cool. Okay.
It's on the front of the outfit.
Okay, beautiful. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to press the button that says protect. Okay, so press that button. And what you'll notice is instantly, it's almost like there's this invisible barrier around you that nothing can hurt you. No words, no negative words, actions, people, or energy. It just bounces right off. And I want you to imagine that maybe someone who has or would send negative words, imagine that they're in front of you just for a second. They're not actually here, but it's almost like a test run, right? So imagine that they're in front of you and they're sending you nasty energy or nasty words, and notice what happens.
Okay.
What happens?
Two big bouncers came and took them away.
Yes. Okay, now look down at the panel on your stomach and notice that there's an extra protection layer where the angels will intervene whenever they decide is necessary. Yes, okay, good. And they'll clear people out of your life who are not supporting you in your highest and best, most positive expansion. Does that make sense? Okay, beautiful. And also, did you notice that energy didn't actually hurt you?
Yes.
Like you might have felt it bounce off the suit, but it didn't actually hurt you. It didn't cause any pain. Cool. It's like bulletproof. You are now bulletproofed against negative thoughts, words, people, actions, or energy. Okay, cool. Now there's a button somewhere on the panel and it says boost confidence. Go ahead and press that button.
Okay.
And notice what happens. What happens?
I started singing karaoke.
Yeah! Fantastic. Oh, by the way, karaoke is back up and running in California. I love it. That is so fun. You're like one of Marvin's favorite. Come on, Jigglypuff. She sings karaoke. That's her superpower. So good. So it boosted your confidence. Okay. Now I want you to imagine wearing your super suit, but you're going to start. You're going to start imagining yourself like applying to different jobs, going in for interviews. What other buttons on the panel do you want to press, or do you feel like you need to press in order to prepare yourself?
A button that says, like, you'll always know what to say.
Perfect. So clarity in communication. Yes. Press that button. Now, when you have clarity of communication, does that guarantee that other people are going to understand you?
Yes.
No. Good. So let's readjust your perception here. No, it's not going to guarantee that other people are going to understand you because you're not able to control that. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
You're not able to control whether other people understand you or not. But what you will be able to do is you'll be able to think of a different way to present your thoughts. that might help them understand you a little bit better. That makes sense?
Mm-hmm.
Does that feel doable?
Yes.
Cool. Okay. Any other buttons? Ooh, there's an intuition dial on your suit. Let's turn that all the way up so that it comes through. It's like speaks right from your hat into your ears, so you can hear your intuition so clearly. Good. You were going to say something else?
No.
Okay, good. Anything else? Any other powers you would like this super suit to have?
Button to be able to talk to my angels whenever I want to.
Beautiful. Put it in there. Almost like a phone.
Yeah.
Cool. Turn it on and call your angels. Let's see. Let's test it. And when your angels pick up, or when you get the sense that they're there or on the other side of the line, let me know.
It went to voicemail.
Okay, let's see. Okay, we're going to disable that voicemail machine. Call back. Someone's waiting there to answer the phone. Call them. When they answer, nod your head for me. Okay, good. Say hi. What do they say?
They just said hi.
Good. Ask them a question. What would you like to ask them right now?
Will I ever have any friends?
Good. Okay. And what do they say back?
I'm not really getting an answer.
I think you might be blocking it. Let's imagine that there's a block in the, because I can hear the answer. Let's imagine that there's a block in the cord, and just take a tool, whatever tool it might need to block, maybe unblock your ear or unblock the receiver on your side. When that feels unblocked, nod your head for me.
I'm having trouble unblocking it.
Okay. What do you need to know that you're allowed to unblock it? Or to know that you can?
That I'll like the answer?
Okay. I promise you'll like the answer. Will you unblock it now?
I'm still having trouble.
Okay. Because you don't know if you actually believe that you'll like the answer.
Right.
Okay. Oh, because the how is still very much a very strong factor in making friends. Yes. Okay. That's a whole other set of things. So let's put that question aside for now. Do you have another question? How about something like, should you stay in Vegas?
Right.
Yeah, ask them that.
Okay, I heard a yes and a no.
Who was the yes coming from?
I don't know.
Okay. Who was the no coming from?
Again, I don't know. It felt like it was the same.
Cool. Okay, let's ask a clarifying question. Did you receive a yes and a no because you get to be the one who makes the choice?
I don't understand.
Like you get to be the one. The power to make that decision is with you. Is that why you heard both yes and no, because both options are possible?
Yes.
Perfect. Okay, good. How does that feel?
Scary.
Yes. I bet it feels very scary to be responsible for your life decisions. Yes, of course it does, but that is part of adulting. That is part of humaning, is that you get to make your own choices based on what feels right for you in the moment. And in this case, there is no right or wrong answer. Does that feel a little better to know that?
Yes.
Okay. Usually when you get a yes and a no, it means that both options are possible and that there is a viable path that will lead from both decisions.
That's interesting.
Yes. Yes. There's usually going to be one that will lead to a little bit more happiness or happiness a little bit easier, but it usually means that both are possible. And so the decision is really up to you. Cool. So you've got your automatic dial into your angels in your suit whenever you need it. How does that feel to know that?
It feels really good, and I really like the suit. So.
Yay! Good. We're locking that suit into place. We're going to integrate it within your being. And Jules, you don't ever have to take this suit off. It's self-cleaning. So you can always just keep it on permanently. If at any time you notice that you are getting triggered, it could be because your unconscious mind has taken off the suit accidentally. So all you have to do is just put it back on again. Okay? And this is yours now. Nobody can take it away.
I don't think anybody would want it.
Well, that's just perfect then. This suit that's designed specifically for you, locking that into place at 3, 2, 1, 0. And thanking your angels for always being present for you. Just sending out a thank you to whomever made this suit for you. And coming back to the beach, being transported back to the now. 1 is a nice deep cleansing in. 2 is a wonderful sense of well-being. 3, and even more alert. 4, and 5 is eyes open, wide awake, and alert. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, eyes open, wide awake, and alert. How are you feeling?
Like I want to go back, because I imagined that cave is like this club in Italy that I saw a picture of once that was built into a cave.
Yes.
That I've always wanted to go to. It was like a restaurant club thing that is deep in a cave.
Yeah. And you can go back anytime you want. That's your place now. You don't need my permission. You can literally take yourself back there at any time. And you had some emotions come up as you were coming back. What were those?
Like I didn't want to come back. Kind of like when we're doing the timeline thing and I'm up there.
Yeah. So what I'm hearing is that your brain has a very powerful hold on you as far as the neuroses that like go round and round and round. I want you to make a priority to spend large periods of time in a meditative place, in your cave, on the beach, on your timeline, because that when you're there, you're able to much more easily control your thoughts. And the better and better you get at controlling your thoughts, the easier and easier it'll be for you to do that when you're just awake and lucid.
When you were counting down to go to the cave, I felt like inside my head was like a sheet of paper, and it was crinkling up. it was like really weird. Like weird stuff was happening in there. Like not a headache, but you know, like when it, I don't know, it was a weird feeling.
And you were able to get beneath it?
Well, yeah, that just happened when you were counting me down. And then once you started talking about the cave, then I was there.
Good job. Good job. It sounds just like a little bit of resistance. So you did great. Good job. Excellent. All right, so you've got your homework. Good luck with your job hunt. We're all rooting for you.
And you said to text you or something about the Gold's Gym guy?
Yes. If I forget, just message me.
And you look great without your wig, by the way. Although I do really love the pink one.
I know. I love the pink one too. I like the idea of, thank you, I received that. I appreciate that. I really like the idea of not feeling like I need them, but just putting them on.
For fun, like you had said in your Facebook thing.
Yeah, it's just a night out. I feel like looking like this today. Yeah. I love it. And feel free to share your boudoir pictures with us in the group. I want to see them so bad.
Okay.
All right, Jules.
All right, see you next week.
See you next week. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, everybody. Thanks for tuning in.